Hoping to rejuvenate his smile in time to celebrate his daughter's commencement, Anthony preferred a bridge rather than implant treatment for his missing tooth number 7. We ensured the minimum thickness requirements for Brooksir aesthetic material were met. A child's graduation can be a personal catalyst for a patient to seek treatment. Anthony, who is 52 years old, shared with us that he was the father of a soon-to-be high school graduate. Hoping to rejuvenate his smile in time to celebrate his daughter's commencement, Anthony preferred a bridge to treat his missing tooth rather than a lengthy implant treatment. My immediate concern was the extensive anterior teeth destruction. The loss of teeth has altered his occlusion relationships. Interferences in occlusion have restricted the functional movement of the jaw and have greatly damaged the tooth structure. To transform Anthony's smile, we plan to rehabilitate his occlusion. We start with an interim composite buildup prototype that effectively sealed the edentulous space of tooth number 7. We then lengthen the worn-out incisal edges of tooth number 6, 8, and 9, re-establishing the canine and protrusive guidance. Next, appointments were made to prepare and deliver 3-unit bridges for teeth number 2 to 4 and number 12 to 14. The posterior bridges were seated. The interim trial period was completed. We will start with the removal of the composite prototype. Today's presentation will focus on the Brooksir aesthetic restorations used for the anterior zone. Teeth were prepared from number 5 to 11. Teeth number 6 to 8 are to receive a 3-unit Brooksir aesthetic bridge. Crowns were made for teeth number 9 and 10. Veneers were prescribed for teeth number 5 and 11. We start by placing depth cuts. We ensured the minimum thickness requirements for Brooksir aesthetic material were met. Ideally, the lab prefers 1.25 millimeters of incisal reduction or a minimum of 0.7 millimeters. After the impression was taken, it was time to deliver the Biotemps provisionals. Here is a useful tip when handling the lab-made provisionals to aid in proper orientation during reline. We recommend the use of the fast stent that the lab provides. Since the Biotemps provisionals are very shallow, there is always a risk of creating protruded provisionals that will look proclined or bulky if oriented incorrectly during the reline. When cleaning off the excess, there should be enough room for the interproximal area to avoid any tissue impingement or blocked triangles at the final delivery. Following a 2-week period, the 7-unit provisional was removed. The preps were cleaned of temporary cement and pumice was used prior to try-in. Following a 2-week period, the 7-unit provisional was removed. The preps were cleaned of temporary cement and pumiced prior to try-in. The final restorations were evaluated for marginal fit, aesthetic, occlusion, and phonetics. Since the technician followed the guidelines of the provisional restorations, no contact or occlusion adjustments were necessary at this stage. The etch step is optional, but to increase the bonding strength, the preps were etched here. The teeth were prepared for final seat using Variolink Aesthetic Dual Cure Luting Cement. Here, the preparations are conditioned with adhesive after the application of the etch step. We now move to the pre-treatment of the intaglio surface of zirconia. To clean, you can scrub it with Ivaclean or sandblast it again with aluminum oxide. Here is a clinical tip. You can preload and seat veneers using the surgical suction tip. Brooksir aesthetic was successfully used as a treatment modality to restore severely worn dentition. It can be a strong alternative for rehabilitation when canine guidance and protrusion must be re-established. These restorations dramatically renewed Anthony's smile. We were able to reconstruct a healthy function and create a natural appearance. The natural appearance of Brooksir aesthetic was essential to the success of this case, giving Anthony a beautiful smile for years to come. With his smile transformed, Anthony was ready to attend his daughter's graduation, a memorable occasion where this proud father had plenty of reasons to smile.